Tonight at 6, we are live outside of Bliss, Ohio, which is the first medical marijuana dispensary of its kind in Kent. Hear how this treatment can help local residents.
The Jalen Walker case continues to impact the Akron community with persistent protests. How the police reacted last night.
The rights of transgender athletes may be changing, what effects this may have, and how people are reacting.
A SpaceX rocket exploded mid-flight this morning, why the company is still calling the test launch a success. And more as your Thursday edition of TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good Thursday evening, Portage County. I'm Sydney Brown.
And I'm Alexa Blakley. Thank you so much for joining us. Tonight we start with a new medical marijuana dispensary in Kent.
Our reporter Alexandria Manthey is live from Bill's Ohio dispensary. Hi, Alex.
Hi guys, that's right. Today marks April 20th or 420, and for those in cannabis culture, this day is extra special because it is famous for the celebration of marijuana. Now, I spoke to Bliss, Ohio on their future plans for opening the first medical marijuana dispensary in Kent. A new medical marijuana dispensary will be the first of its kind in Kent to help patients find their bliss.
It does depend on all of our inventory, making sure that we can intake all of that, making sure all of our systems are set up properly. So it does take some time to do that, but we are hoping to open next week.
Up until recently, the closest dispensary was in Akron.
So we're just really excited to be opening here in Kent so that we can offer medical marijuana to the local community and surrounding communities without having to drive so far.
There are a number of qualifying conditions that medical cannabis can help.
It definitely depends a lot on the person, what they get from the medical marijuana. I would say that some of the most common ailments that people look to treat are in reference to PTSD. Oftentimes people have a hard time sleeping. I've heard that people have nightmares, things like that. So cannabis, medical marijuana can be really helpful for those kind of ailments.
Bliss, Ohio has a variety of different products to help qualifying patients find their complete happiness.
The most popular is flower, which is like typical flower that most people are familiar with. We also do a lot of vape sales in the state of Ohio, and then edibles are third. So those tend to be the most popular. We also do sell topicals, typically like lotions or balms for spot-specific pain typically.
For those looking to receive medical marijuana, there is a process you must follow to get treatment.
They meet with a doctor, a physician that can recommend the medical marijuana. They pay that fee in the state, about $50 typically. But after they get the recommendation and pay that state fee, they are able to come in. They just need their medical marijuana card that they can get online, and then they need their state-issued ID as well, whatever they use to sign up with, typically a driver's license, but I've seen all kinds.
Bliss, Ohio is hoping to give patients a calming experience.
We are trying to kind of focus on the 5 senses. So cannabis is often kind of lumped in with other holistic medicines, and we really believe in that holistic medicine and bringing all 5 senses into the experience for our patients. Just really trying to create that welcoming environment so that people can come in, purchase their medical marijuana to treat their qualifying condition, and feel comfortable the whole time that they're doing that.
Bliss will be taking both cash and spender as form of payments, and they are hoping to have their grand opening ceremony next Friday. But for now, reporting in Kent, I'm Alexandria Manthey, truly Portage County.
Thanks, Alex. Also happening in Kent State today, the Ambassador Crawford College of Business and Entrepreneurship held a Crawford Hall beam signing ceremony. Donors to the new business building and members of the college's National Advisory Board had the opportunity to sign the beam that will be placed in Crawford Hall. A topping off ceremony during which the beam will be placed will take place at the building site in June. Crawford Hall is expected to open in fall of 2024.
We saw the brilliant idea of what it was going to be and the vision of it, so we're happy to be part of it. Everyone in this room has been a very big part of it for a very long time. We've come along, but I think we're making a difference.
Kent State's Black United students are hosting a community dialogue tomorrow to discuss and debate Senate Bill 83. Senate Bill 83 has been facing criticism with concerns about its elimination of all diversity and inclusion training, as well as bans on discussions of controversial topics and more. The dialogue will take place from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow in the Student Center Governance Chambers.
The Kent Free Library is holding a book sale starting today through Sunday the 23rd. Books, audiobooks, music, CDs, and DVDs will be sold for all ages. These items are from donations and what has been discarded from the library's collection. Today is Kent Free Library's member preview sale until 8 p.m., but if you're not a member yet, you can purchase a membership at $5 for an individual, $10 for your family, and $3 for seniors and students. Storms wreaked havoc on parts of Oklahoma Wednesday, leaving at least 2 people dead in the city of Cole, just south of Oklahoma City.
The National Weather Service followed several tornado reports across the state, and officials confirmed at least one twister touched down. Authorities report the storms have knocked out power to over 20,000 customers statewide.
Fortunately, we haven't had much severe weather here, but we are having some extreme temperatures right now.
Yeah, it was so much colder at the beginning of the week, and it's gotten so much warmer, and I am very excited about it.
Same here. But Michael, are we going to have these warm temperatures stick around?
Well, we'll just have to find out and see. How's it going, Portage County? Get used to this nice weather because it's not going away. Let's take a look. As we see, it is currently 80 degrees, and because the wind is not too bad, it feels like 80 as well, with the dew point of 37 degrees, along with wind traveling southwest at 12 miles an hour. The visibility is at 10 miles, and it's at about 21% humidity. Not too high, not too low. Now, tonight, it will get a little bit colder because it'll be around 58 degrees, and we won't be seeing the moon too much. It will be rather cloudy. The winds will still be traveling at around south-southwest at 10 to 15 miles an hour, and the sun is setting at 8:10 p.m. Now, around when the sun is setting, it will be around 74 degrees. It will still be pretty cloudy all night and into the morning, and it'll cool down to about 60 from midnight to the morning, but be sure to stick around until later as we take a look at the statewide temperatures and maybe see what the 7-day forecast looks like.
Thanks, Michael. Now moving into more hard news, after the Jalen Walker case decision was released on Monday, Akron continues to see more protests. Our very own Alexa Blakley has the latest on the situation.
That's right, Sydney. After a grand jury determined last week that charges were not warranted for the 8 police officers involved in the fatal shooting of Jalen Walker, an internal review of the Akron Police Department will take place. Last year saw the approval of the Citizens Police Oversight Board, and this will likely be the first case that board examines. The board expressed that their goal is for the investigation to be as thorough and transparent as possible and to determine the next steps concerning the case. But the grand jury's decision not to indict the officers involved in Walker's death was met with outrage, including a protest in Akron last night. The protest was deemed unlawful after participants allegedly began throwing rocks and other objects, and law enforcement intervened by using pepper spray to disperse the protesters. However, others on the scene claim that the protest had remained peaceful before the tear gas was used. Despite all the outrage, Black leaders in Akron are urging community members to remain peaceful. Several clergy and civic leaders gathered Tuesday to launch a new group with the goal of healing the pain and divisions caused by the death of Jalen Walker. They expressed their grief concerning the incident and the decision not to indict the involved police officers, but spoke about how they felt that violence was not the best way to resolve those feelings.
I'm proud to stand here and hopefully continue to fight for the next generation of female athletes. And I am so proud to stand up here with all of these strong voices who hear the female athletes and are willing to stand up for us.
The transgender bill that aims to limit the rights of transgender athletes in Ohio. We have the latest details about House Bill 6.
And news from Wall Street is being released today, everything from mortgage rates to jobless claims and the effects it all will have.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back. The House of Representatives voted to pass an anti-trans sports bill today. The purpose is to, quote, defend biological female athletes nationwide, end quote. The GOP-led bill would ban transgender athletes from women's and girls' sports at federally funded schools and educational institutions. The Democratic-controlled Senate isn't expected to take it, and the White House has issued a veto threat. But so the bill has little chance of actually becoming law because the bill shows Republicans spotlighting the issue.
If this is about elite sports competition,
let's allow the relevant organizations involved in elite sports competition to do what they do and to set the framework and the boundaries and the rules of engagement.
And out of Columbus, more than 80 people gave testimonies in opposition of House Bill 6. Those who testified against the bill, dubbed Save Women's Sports Act. However, the Higher Education Committee was only able to hear about a dozen testimonies due to the time constraints. The bill prevents trans athletes from participating in Ohio sports and youth athletics.
As the Senate continues to debate on access to abortion medication, mifepristone, concern is rising in the medical community. And the decision does not seem to be coming as soon as it was originally expected. Mike Valerio has all the details.
Confusion for care providers.
This is like, honestly, a game of hockey where you have no idea where the puck is.
As the Supreme Court weighs a decision on access to the abortion medication mifepristone. On Wednesday, Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito gave the court more time to consider the issue, extending a temporary hold on an order by a federal judge in Texas that would block access to the drug.
17 states in the District of Columbia have been ordered to keep mifepristone access as it is, and a judge who purported to issue a nationwide injunction telling the FDA to change the way that mifepristone is being administered. And so you do have a conflict, which is why the Supreme Court definitely needs to do something about it.
The reason for that extension is unclear, as is the path the High Court will take, but the decisions the justices could make will have wide-ranging implications beyond if and when mifepristone can be used. One question at issue, can a single judge or panel overrule the FDA? The precedent set by the ruling could create chaos in the pharmaceutical industry and threaten the regulatory system that approves new treatments. This is causing concern within the medical community.
This case is a challenge to how we practice medicine as healthcare providers.
And on both sides of the aisle in Washington.
They basically have said this, the last two judges, hey, guess what? We know better than the FDA.
It could be this drug today, and who knows what the next one might be.
I'm Mike Valerio reporting.
An additional COVID-19 vaccination dose will now be available for people 65 and older and those with weakened immune systems. The FDA announced Tuesday that these groups should get additional booster doses ahead of their fall vaccination campaign. The original COVID vaccine will no longer be recommended in the U.S. since it only protected against the first strand of the coronavirus. The CDC now recommends the updated vaccines for everyone 6 and older, even if they did not finish the 2-dose series of the original shots.
The hearing for the man accused of leaking classified Pentagon information has been postponed, but the suspect, Jack Teixeira, did appear in court. But at the request of both the prosecution and defense, the judge has delayed arguments about Teixeira's detention. Teixeira was accused of leaking sensitive information regarding Ukraine on social media and has yet to enter a formal plea. A unique experience for Australians yesterday. A rare hybrid solar eclipse was seen Thursday over a small town in rural northwest Australia.
That's right, the cosmic event was only an optimal view for a part of Australia. Visitors hoping to get a glimpse at the solar event poured into the town of Exmouth when the sun and the earth and the moon aligned in an awe-inspiring event. I saw a video of this and it looked really cool just to see it like completely dark in the daytime. But I hear we're going to get a solar eclipse next year here in Cleveland.
Oh really? That's so exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be a year away. But did you see the one back in 2016?
I didn't, so I'll definitely have to see this one next year.
I think this one will be a lot cooler. Michael, do you think you'll make plans to go see this next year?
Absolutely, Sydney. It is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Welcome back. Seems like a good time to see what the temperature looks like around northeast Ohio because, as you all know, inland it is around 80 degrees. Kent, Youngstown, Worcester, Mansfield, they're all in those 80s. But if you're not a fan of the nice weather, you could always go up to the lake. Sandusky, Cleveland, Ashtabula, they're all much cooler, with Ashtabula actually being at 67, which is pretty brisk if you like that. But let's see what it looks like around the Buckeye State because, as you all know, northeast Ohio, it is around 80. As you go south to Athens, it is around 86. Even in Columbus, still in the 80s. Really just 80s all around. And down in Cincinnati, it is as far as 87. And then Dayton and Lima are also in the 80s. Really just nice, warm weather all around Ohio. Now, let's see what it looks like for the next 7 days. Yeah, sorry to burst your bubble, but unfortunately, the nice weather will not be around too long because from Friday to Saturday to Sunday, it will be rainy, it will be cloudy, though it won't be too cold tomorrow. Tomorrow it'll be around 75, but it will cool down to 54 and 47 on Saturday and Sunday. Now, as we go to the weekdays, it will still be cloudy, but it will be colder. As Monday, we see 47 degrees with even a low of 34, 33. It could even get to freezing temperatures. And it will get a little better, but unfortunately, we will see rain again on Thursday. And, well, that's all I've got for now. Be sure to get outside at least once while the sun's out. I've been Michael Neenan. Stay safe, Portage County.
Thanks, Michael. Now moving up to Canada, SpaceX's latest test launch didn't go as hoped with a mid-air explosion minutes into the launch, but people are still considering today a success.
I mean, the whole job of test is to find out what goes wrong, to let things fail. You can, pretend as long as you want, but eventually you got to go actually launch this thing. And that's when you're going to really find out what's right and what's wrong. They were so successful today.
Today's SpaceX Starship rocket launch was the most powerful rocket ever built. It blasted off on an unpiloted maiden flight for 2 minutes before tumbling out of control and exploding in a cloud of flaming debris. SpaceX engineer John Inspacher called the explosion a rapid, unscheduled disassembly, but Elon Musk also joined the conversation as the founder of SpaceX, saying congratulations to the team and that they have a lot to learn before the next test launch.
If you're someone who likes to keep an eye on the happenings of Wall Street, then there will be plenty of new information for you being released today. From economic indicators to mortgage rates and jobless claims, John Loring reports.
As the U.S. economy moves forward in the post-pandemic era,
recession risks are high and rising, probably pretty close to even over the next year or two.
More skirmishes in the battle over the U.S.'s debt ceiling.
President Biden and Senator Schumer have no right to play politics with the debt ceiling. Their extreme positions risk provoking the very crisis they claim to want to avoid.
During a speech in Maryland Wednesday, President Joe Biden said the U.S. defaulting on the national debt would be a big mistake.
It would mean cuts in Social Security and Medicare, higher interest rates for things like credit cards, car loans, mortgages.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy released the Limit, Save, Grow Act of 2023 that returns discretionary spending to 2022 levels and limits spending growth to 1% per year over the next 10 years.
House Republicans are taking action to lift the debt limit, to limit government spending, save taxpayers money, and grow the economy.
The White House criticized the proposal, saying a debt ceiling hike shouldn't be linked to a spending bill, just as it wasn't during 3 such votes in the Trump administration.
They want to increase costs for hardworking families, take food assistance and health care away from millions of Americans.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Now we have updates on the biggest social media company. Current or former Facebook users can now file for compensation as part of a $725 million settlement. The money comes from a class action lawsuit over Cambridge Analytica and other third parties using Facebook's users' private information without their consent. In 2018, news broke that the data mining firm had taken personal information from up to 87 million Facebook users through a personality quiz app that sparked the lawsuit.
BuzzFeed has been facing some financial challenges, and as a result, BuzzFeed News will be shutting down. This cut is due to a 15% reduction in BuzzFeed's workforce, which will affect about 180 employees. Select roles are being opened up to these employees at HuffPost News, which was obtained by BuzzFeed back in 2020. This comes as Facebook's parent company Meta has announced another round of layoffs totaling to about 66,000 jobs.
All charges against Alec Baldwin have been dropped after the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the set of Western movie Rust. The news comes as the production of the film was set to resume today. It is still unclear if charges against co-defendant and Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed are still in play, but Hutchins was shot and killed by a loaded gun from the production over 2 years ago. Hutchins was 42 years old.
Earlier today, Apple officially opened its second retail store in India. This new store is located in India's capital, New Delhi, with the first being in Mumbai. Apple CEO Tim Cook spent the week in India opening the two stores, as well as meeting with the Indian Prime Minister and the country's IT minister. The three later posted to Twitter that they had a great discussion about the future of Apple in India, as well as sustainability and job creation.
Promposals are back and are getting bigger than ever. See how one high school junior asked his girlfriend to prom.
And the Golden Flashes saw a winning Wednesday. We tell you who did so on the other side of the break.
And now, your TV2 Sports Report.
Welcome back. Former Cavs coach Mike Brown was unanimously voted NBA Coach of the Year. In his first season at Sacramento, the Kings make the playoffs for the first time since 2006.
This is the second time Brown has received this award, but this is the first time a coach has ever been awarded unanimously. And well, back at home, the Cavaliers have won their first playoff game over the New York Knicks Tuesday night in the first round of the NBA playoffs, to even the series at 1 game apiece.
Yeah, TV2 Sports' Matt Corrali is here to break down tomorrow night's Game 3 for us. Hey, Matt.
Hey guys, good evening, and that's right. The Cavs are looking to take their first lead of the series against the Knicks tomorrow. So let's dive into my keys for a Game 3 Cavalier win. Now, the biggest piece to a Cleveland win in the Big Apple to me is rebounding. In the win, the Cavs out-rebounded the Knicks 43-36, while in their loss, Cleveland got out-rebounded by New York 51-38. Another key aspect is to up their intensity on the floor. In the opener, the Cavs seemed to fall flat all game and not play to their level of basketball. However, in Game 2, they seemed to feed off the crowd and managed to play with a fire that you have to see to believe. Game 3 is tomorrow night at 8:30, and you can catch all the action on ABC. Well, here on campus, Kent State teams were in action Wednesday, and there were many tallies in the win column. The baseball team took down Tiffin by the score of 15-12 at home. Mike McNamara was the focal point on offense as he homered twice. And on the mound, closer Mitchell Scott slammed the door for his 9th save of the season. The lacrosse team hosted Akron and won 19-6, and a lot of milestones were reached. As Kenzie Sklar scored her 100th career goal, Morgan Kubicki broke the single-season assists record with 21, and Zeta Crumpton matched her career high in single-game goals with 3. Let's go to a highlight. Guardians are in Detroit taking on the Tigers. They got swept in a doubleheader Wednesday by these guys, but Jose Ramirez is looking to change that. J-Ram will take the greatest jog in sports as Cleveland goes up 3-0 to start this ballgame. Bottom of the 6th. This is Cleveland starter Cal Quantrill getting hit in the knee by Kerry Carpenter, but he gathers himself and throws to first for the inning ender. Quantrill will leave due to that after 6 scoreless frames as he's okay, but in the bottom of the 7th, Spencer Torkelson, the Jackson High School grad out of nearby Massillon, goes yaya off of Trevor Steffen. Tigers get on the board, it's 3-1, but Detroit makes it interesting with the homer by Zach McKinstry in the 8th, but in the 9th, Eric Haas flies it to Stephen Kwan with the winning run on base. Ball game. You can put a tally in the win column for the Cleveland Guardians. They escaped Detroit with the win. They go back to over 500 on the series, and guys, they will have a weekend series coming up against Miami tomorrow, and it'll sure be fun. No doubt about it.
No doubt about it, indeed. I just love Guardians games. Best time of year.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, listen, when you get to Progressive Field, they do a great job, that staff, of making you feel like you're at home, making you feel comfortable. Have you guys ever been to some Guardians games before?
Oh, I've never been, actually. I'll have to go sometime.
That's so crazy for me because I just grew up going to Guardians games. But, Matt, are you going to head there soon?
Oh, absolutely. Maybe not now just because of school, but once the summertime hits, we'll definitely be going to the ballpark a lot this summer, no doubt.
A beloved book series is being brought to the screen again. All the details on this newest TV remake.
Prom season is around the corner, but promposals have already started. In Janesville, Wisconsin, Ryan Hazelton took the task very seriously for his girlfriend, Abby Anderson.
He sure did. To secure his prom date, he spelled out prom in giant letters in the middle of a farm field. According to Ryan's dad, he went out into the field with a tractor and a disc and just eyeballed the whole thing. But most importantly, Abby said yes. Taylor Swift knew FTX was trouble. After being approached by the cryptocurrency trading company about a $100 million sponsorship deal back in 2021, Swift questioned the claims made by the company and turned down the deal. Part of the deal included selling tickets as NFTs. Other celebrities did not have the same caution with similar offers and are now part of a $5 billion lawsuit with accusations of endorsing a fraudulent product.
And it turns out we don't have to wait 1,000 years for the Twilight remake. The hit Twilight saga is now being adapted into a TV series by Lionsgate TV. Author of the romance novel, Stephenie Meyer, is expected to be involved in the production once again. Meyer helped produce the widely popular 5-movie franchise that grossed over $1 billion. You guys, I am a Twilight fan, must say. Are you guys excited about this?
I mean, since we're talking about it, I might as well say, yeah, I'm excited about this. Let's get it going.
I was never like a huge fan when it first came out, but I've since rewatched them, and I mean, I think they're pretty good.
Yeah, I watched them for the first time last year, and I actually liked them more than I thought I would.
Yeah, me personally, I'm more of a Harry Potter guy, but hey, you know, maybe I'll give it a try this time around. We'll see.
Right.
Okay, but then I want to hear about, did anybody get proposed to? Because that was quite something, I thought.
One time I did get proposed to. It
Really?
was a poster though, not quite an entire field, but
Lower the bar a bit.
I was going to say, if you have the tractor, I mean, you might as well put it to good use.
Yeah,
exactly.
right.
Innovative, for sure. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for you today.
Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at kentwired.com.
and on social media at Kent Wired on all platforms.
And tune in tonight at 9 for a new episode of The Agenda. I'm Matt Carali.
I've been Alexandria Manthey.
I'm Michael Neenan.
I'm Alexa Blakley.
And I've been Sydney Brown. Have a great night,